What's up, y'all? Just parked. It's Dr. David Roney. Hope everybody's doing well. Got a little bit of admin today. Today's a big day for me. I get some news on I'm going back to training next year, hopefully. I find out today where I'm going. And, for me, that was a trigger, man. It was a trigger for some financial anxiety, which is fucking ridiculous, right? I'm a surgeon, right? But you spend decades in poverty, that anxiety and that trauma just doesn't go away overnight, right? Like, you gotta actually address it, actually understand it, so that you can rationally move past it, right? Part of what the anxiety is there, and part of, for me, it was a little like whenever I have to think about when I'm gonna move, I feel that fear and sort of the everything rushes back to the top, right? So I moved about 30 times when I was a kid. I slept on a lot of people's couches. Like that, not knowing what's going to happen is very crippling. Like, not to have control, right? Not to have control over where like food is coming from, where what's going on with the lights, what's going on with the gas, like how, all these little small details that don't fucking matter. But for some reason, when you have anxiety, like it can feel very crushing. And man, I've been struggling the last couple of days because the stress of it, right? Like, even though I know rationally it doesn't make sense, right? I'm a surgeon, I have a high income, and I've been lucky enough to be put in that position. But it's something that occurs. And, people just expect you just to move on. The problem is you spent so much time in that environment, so much time trying to just fight and survive. Like, that just doesn't go away overnight. You can't just turn that switch off. So for me, in dealing with it, I do require help, right? I am more vocal about the anxiety that I go through. I am more vocal about saying, I'm struggling today. Why? Because in telling that, I feel and I know that talking through things sort of helps me. For other people, it's writing it down. For other people, it is going to the gym. For me, it's talking through it with people that I trust, with people that I know care about me, who are willing to basically work through it, right? And help my brain get back to a more rational standard. It is a very tough thing to go through. But if you've been in any sort of poverty for years, months, like, that has a lasting effect, and you're going to have to address it, because there are going to be things that trigger you. Yesterday I was triggered. Today I'm doing a little bit better, because I know at some point today I'll get the information. But as long as there remains like the air of uncertainty, yeah, it can trigger. And I told you, and I still do, man. The first of the month comes around, sometimes I get anxiety with paying bills, and I know I can pay all my bills, no problem. But I still remember the months of having to figure out, like, okay, do we pay the lights or do we buy food? Do we pay the gas or do we, and so you just sort of have to figure it out. And when you're going through it, you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself. You don't have time to really understand the gravity of what you're going through. You don't have time to process those emotions. So you end up bottling them up. Then the next event comes, and the next event comes. And so you end up with years of unaddressed anxiety and emotion, and it can feel crippling, man. It can absolutely feel crippling. And when I was younger, I used to think, when I make more money, it will just sort of go away. The reality is it doesn't go away. And now that I'm older, I realize that, you can't have the same habits, right? Because I don't want to show my kids that I'm unwilling to do the work required to be positive, have a positive relationship with money. Your relationship with money is very, very important. Understanding how to deal with it, how to, the limitations of money, what money exists for you, why it exists for you, what joy you get from money, what joy you don't get from money. Those are things that are important. That is how you sort of address your financial anxiety. For me, being secure in my housing, my food, and my utilities. As long as I always have a roof over my head, I always have a car to drive, I always have food in my family's bellies, I will be okay, right? I know I will be okay. When things destabilize and there's an air of uncertainty, I know that's where I struggle. And I'm lucky that I have developed, and God has put around me, a number of people who I can call, I can text, who will talk me through and help me rationalize what is going on and help me take a step back. Because in those moments of anxiety, your flight or fight response can really trigger, right? You either are going to run or hide, right? Like, you're going to have to take a step back, understand what's going on so that you don't make a bad financial decision. And it can easily occur. So how do you overcome financial anxiety? One, you have to just admit that you have it. Part of the problem is we spend so much time not admitting that we have issues with anxiety. There's a reason why your body feels that way. It's a natural emotion. It's not something that is unnatural, or your body wouldn't be feeling it normally. Most of us wouldn't really struggle from it. But it becomes pathologic when you refuse to address that you have that anxiety. So financial anxiety can be overcome, but not necessarily with a high income. You have to make the effort to work through it and to not allow it to be pathologic in your life, and not to allow it to be a detriment to who you are. And understand. For me, like I said, I talk through it. I have friends, I have my wife, I talk through these things, I acknowledge it. Once I acknowledge it, I find that it's easier to deal with. So first step, just acknowledge that you have it. Second step, do something to channel that anxiety so that it is in a controlled fashion and doesn't actually spiral out of control. For me, it feels like the Incredible Hulk, like underneath, where it just wants to be released. And me talking about it allows that to be released, and you figure out that it actually wasn't a big scary monster. It was your own brain developing that because you refused to address it. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well, and have a blessed day. Peace.